Motivational Millennial Millionaire. Motivational Millennial Millionaire.
What's good, YouTube? It's your boy Andrew Savage, the motivational millennial millionaire, back at it again with another video, and I'm really excited about this one. This is something that I've been wanting to do ever since I started my YouTube channel. Today I'm gonna break down how I purchased my Mercedes-Benz making minimum wage. Now, this is the first car that I've ever purchased in my life, so it's crazy. It's crazy, but just stay tuned with me, man, and I'm gonna show you guys how I was able to pull it out. Okay, guys, let me give you guys a little bit of a backstory. This was around 2010, 2011. I was working at Kmart. At the time, minimum wage had to be about, I think it was 7.25, right? And to be honest with you, I was going to school at the same time. So, I mean, I was only working 2 or 3 days out the week. That would give me anywhere between 4 to 6 days for a 2 week pay period. And I was making around 200 to 250 every 2 weeks. So if you do the math on those numbers, we'll shoot for the high end. So we'll say 250 every 2 weeks. So that means that I was bringing in $500 every month from my job making minimum wage at Kmart. Now, what people didn't see was I was also receiving a monthly check for going to college for $1,000 a month. So if you add those two numbers together, you have my $1,000 monthly stipend for going to college, and then you have my $500 a month for Kmart. So that brings you out to $1,500 a month as my total income. At the time, I was living with my parents, so I didn't have to pay any rent. I didn't have any bills. I think the only expense that I had was my cell phone bill, which was like maybe $100 a month, if that. But that was the only bill that I had. So basically, if you take the 1,500 and you subtract my cell phone bill, which is $100, then that left me $1,400 to play with. Now, going into this, I knew nothing about actually purchasing a vehicle. I never purchased a vehicle in my life. My parents knew about purchasing a vehicle, but I knew that I couldn't go to them because they wouldn't want to see their son, buying a car, especially making minimum wage. So what I did was I decided to reach out to my mentor at the time, and he had a nice car, had a nice house, so I knew he knew what to do. I was just like, let me just reach out to him and see if he'd help me out. So I reached out to him, and he told me to come through. We chopped it up, and basically he just explained to me every facet of the process of actually obtaining a vehicle. He told me about the credit union and whatnot, and told me, basically go up there, and I had to take my last two check stubs and a copy of my last year's tax returns. All right, so now everything is all set. I have everything that I need to actually go up to the bank and see if I can get approved for a car loan. So imagine a 19-year-old nervous, my first time ever walking to a bank asking them to lend me any money. And I was excited, but at the same time, I wanted to make sure that I came in there presentable and that when they saw me, they didn't just see a kid who was going to be reckless with the money, but they saw a kid that they can give an opportunity to. And that's exactly what I did. Came in there with my little briefcase and had my smile and had my paperwork all in order. So whenever it was time to sit down with the banker and she started asking for the information, I had everything right there. And she was impressed. She was like, "You'd be surprised how many grown people come in here and they don't have anything. But the fact that you came in here ready, like, I'm gonna do everything in my power to make sure that you get this loan." And that's what happened. I got approved, and she asked me what I was looking for. At the time, I was looking for a Nissan 350Z. So I looked at a couple places. So I had a couple of ideas of about how much it would cost. So I gave her, the amount that I was looking for, and I think at the time it was like maybe I want to say 11, 12, maybe $13,000 is what I told her. So she went in the system and ran my numbers and whatnot, and I got approved. Now I'm gonna be honest with you, like, I had no credit. They always say like no credit is the same thing as having bad credit. I was 19, I didn't have any credit cards, I didn't have anything. So I mean, they basically the credit union was giving me a chance, just taking a chance on a young kid who seemed like he had potential. So I was very thankful for that. Now, me being the go-getter who I am, I definitely took heed of what they said, but I prayed about it and I felt like I was ready. So I went ahead and proceeded on with the process. I woke up early that morning. I went down to Raleigh to look at the Nissan 350Z that I picked out. Online, everything looked perfect. It was a beautiful car, and the price was real good, and it was a drop top, so you wasn't gonna be able to tell me nothing. So anyway, we get down there, and I go look at the vehicle, and on the outside, everything is perfect. It's gorgeous. Like I'm excited, but before I test drove it, I popped the hood, and man, I saw duct tape everywhere. It was just a complete mess. And to be honest with you, I was disappointed. I drove 2.5, 3 hours to get down there, and I really wanted to leave with my car. So I was like, you know what? Let's go ahead and test drive it anyway. So we took it on the road, and I mean, it drove so rough, like it was horrible. So at this point, I'm like, look, man, I want to leave with my car, but I'm not gonna be no dummy. Like if this car doesn't drive good, then I'm gonna just leave it here. So we ended up taking it back to the dealership, and I looked at my mentor and I told him like, nah, this isn't it. And he told me, yeah, like I'm with you on that one. So as we were about to leave, we seen, well, actually my mentor, he's like a big Mercedes guy, and he saw this Mercedes sitting in the cut, and like he looked at it, and he was like, yo, what you think about this Mercedes? Like this is such and such. This is the CLK 55. It's the AMG. Like at this point, man, I don't know anything about cars, so I didn't know AMG was the top of the line Mercedes. Like I didn't know it was the best of the best. Like I didn't know anything about that, so I was just like, it's straight. It is a drop top. It looks nice, so I test drive it. And then at the time, the Mercedes was like $2,000 cheaper than the Nissan 350Z anyway. So I'm like, you know what? We all the way down here. Let me go ahead and just test drive it. So we test drove it. Oh man, it drives so good. Like it was perfect. And like the previous owner was an elderly lady, so she took very good care of it. And to be honest with you, she had to be an elderly lady with some swag because I mean she had the custom rims on there. She had the in dash. I mean in the car. Like, I mean it was dope, man. Then I had to put the top down too. So riding through the city with the top down, like you couldn't tell me this car wasn't mine. So we ended up going back and discussing numbers, and I ended up talking them down to like things like $10,000 or like $9,500 for the vehicle. One of the two, to be honest, which has been so long I forgot. But so that we was all set with the price. Now I just needed to find out insurance. So this is where the hassle came in. I'm calling company after company, Geico, State Farm. I mean, any company I could think of, even the General, like the commercial, call the General. Like, I called the General, and everybody was like saying like crazy amounts. Like one person, I forgot which company it was. I think it was State Farm. They was like, well, when this car was brand new, it was valued at over $100,000, and we can't insure the car. And I'm like, look, lady, this car is only costing me like $9,500. Like you telling me you can't insure the car? I don't understand. And then I had some companies gave me the same story. At one point, this car was valued over $100,000, so your insurance is gonna be $600. Like just crazy stuff. So, long story short, I was able to get on the phone with Geico, and they said, your insurance is gonna be $350 a month. Now, this is way more than what I wanted to spend, but with my budget of $1,400 and my payments being around 200 to 210, I'm like, I can afford this. It's still more than I want to spend, but I could definitely afford it. So I went ahead and pulled the trigger. I called my bank and let them know I switched the cars. They ran the numbers, and surprisingly, my payments went from 210 down to like 184 a month. So I'm like, that's perfect. It's perfect. So I ended up buying a vehicle and bringing it home, and that was that. And it was awesome, man. Like my payments were only $194 a month, and that was just for the vehicle. And then my insurance was $350. So let me do the math right quick. Do the math. So we have 189 plus 350. That gives me $539 a month for my Mercedes Benz. It was at the time it was a 2002 CLK 55 AMG Mercedes Benz. So between insurance and my actual payments on the vehicle, it came up to $539 a month. Now starting off, I had $1,400 to play with minus the $539 gives you $861. So that's how much I had left to just handle just the regular stuff throughout the month, whether it was eating, whether it was going out to the movies or leisure or gas money or maintenance, anything that went wrong with the vehicle, I had enough money to kind of cover myself with that vehicle. All right, so let me give you guys a little recap of everything it took for me to actually purchase my Mercedes making minimum wage. The first things first was I made sure that I could afford the vehicle. So what I did was I took my expenses and I subtracted that from my monthly income, and that's where I got the $1,400. From there, I went to the credit union. I took them my bank statements and my last two paycheck stubs, and also my last year's tax returns to see if I can get approved. From there, I got approved. I went to the actual dealership. I picked out a vehicle. I called back the credit union to let them know what vehicle I'd chosen, and they approved it, and they said that it was a good price for the vehicle and whatnot. And then from there, I was approved. There are a couple of things too that I want to dispel about the rumors about having a Mercedes Benz. I know my parents told me, the oil change it costs so much. It's $300, $400, and can you afford to get that? And cars get oil changes every 3 months, and that's what if you do 3 months, then it's 12 months in a year. So you got 3 times 4. That's $300 times 4 times. That's $1,200 a year. Can you afford that in oil changes? Well, I'm here to dispel that. Like when you have a foreign car, you only get an oil change once a year. So even though it is for I found an actual dealer that would do it for $300. So I think that was a great price. But if you break it down and you do $300 divided by 4, which is the normal amount of time that you would have to actually get your oil change in a regular car, you would get $75. So it came down to basically $75 every 3 to 4 months for oil change, which I still don't think is bad. Having the luxury of driving a Mercedes Benz, it kind of comes with the territory. So personally, I think it was the best decision I ever made. Like that was back in 2009. That was back in 2010, 2011, and now it's 2018, and I still drive that car. That's like my everyday vehicle. I get around in it. And I've had some couple problems with it. Air went out a little bit, like a couple of times. Had some small things go wrong with it, but I maybe have put in the past 8 years. I probably put about $1,500 to $2,000 into it, which is not bad at all. So especially not with having the luxury of actually driving a Mercedes and turning heads and feeling good about yourself, man. It was actually one of the best purchases that I made in my life, and I'm glad that I did it. So I made this video just to kind of dispel the rumors about, buying a Mercedes, and also just wanted to open you guys' eyes up and let you know that just because you make minimum wage doesn't mean that you can't drive foreign cars or drive nice cars. All you have to do is basically look at your expenses, look at how much you're bringing in, and see if you can afford it. If you know you can afford it, go for it. Go for it. Don't let nobody stop you from doing what you want to do as long as it makes sense. Once again, if you like this video, make sure you like, share, and subscribe. And I'm definitely going to have more videos coming for you shortly. Take care.
Motivational Millennial Millionaire.